Welcome to Firearms of America. Today, as you guys can see, I have another pair of Salomon boots for a review, and I'm very excited about these because I think these are the best winter boots so far that I have tried. These are Salomon Quest Winter GTX snow boot. Alrighty, so let me give you a brief overview if you don't have time to watch the whole review. Amazing boot, extremely comfortable, provides all of these cool features like an awesome lacing system, GTX waterproofing, ortholite, insoles, very nice outsole, and you can get them for as low as $180 currently on Amazon. The link is in the description below. Now I know $180 might sound like a lot, but trust me, for everything that this boots provide, and compared to a lot of newer stuff that is out there right now, this is unbeatable. So if you have time to watch the whole review, let's get into it. As some of you already know, this review is specifically for my ultimate survival boots section. Basically, if this wasn't just your regular winter hiking boot, this was your survival boot. Something bad happened and you were wearing them, or they were sitting in your house and something bad happened and you put them on. And now you had to leave your house, you had to walk, run for miles and miles. On the way, you had to fight, climb, whatever's necessary to survive. Would they be good for your survival? Well, how do we make the judgment? We make the judgment based on 8 different criteria. Let's begin. Criteria number 1, of course, comfort level. Yes, and in order to test the comfort level of all the boots that I review on this channel, boots and shoes, I do a 3-mile run and then a 5-mile walk. Now I know running in some of these things can be very hard because they're really not designed for running. But here's the thing. This allows me, this equal test for everything allows me to have this unbiased sort of perspective on the comfort level and how it's supposed to be. So I do it anyway, no matter how hard it is. No pauses in between, no breaks. And then I wear for the rest of the day. So the total wear time is about 8 hours. And like I said, these are very comfortable. There are a few factors that kind of take away from the comfort level and then add up to the comfort level. Let's start with the first one, of course, the weight. This is size 10, and let's see how light or heavy they are. 21.8. I think this is a very good weight. Now, if you have been watching any of my reviews, you know that I always mention the number 20, right? This is kind of sort of that golden number that you're not looking for it, but this is the reference point. The more under 20 ounce it is, the lighter it feels. The more over 20 ounce it is, the heavier it feels. 21.8, just a little bit above that 20, so they are definitely on the heavier side. But if you consider the fact that they are full size, that they have the insulation, that they have the waterproofing, that they have this very thick, good outsole that gives you very good amount of protection, and of course all of this protection that we will talk about later, that kind of becomes worth the sacrifice, right? Just a few ounce. So it was definitely harder to run in these boots. It was definitely on, whenever walking, you definitely feel the weight. But like I said, with everything that you get in this boot, definitely worth it. There are a few things that definitely contribute to the comfort level. That's the inner sole, one of them. And the inner sole here is my favorite ortholite, which is the antibacterial fancy inner sole that is used in a lot of, not just Salomon, in a lot of other hiking boots. Very good to have it in the winter boot, especially considering that you have the insulation. If your feet ever overheat and start sweating, you have this antibacterial inner sole with this moisture wickering type of technology. And of course, you notice the heel bed adds up to the support. Pretty good. My only disappointment here is that once you remove the inner sole, there's really nothing else to give you any kind of cushioning. Usually Salomon implements that blue kind of layer to give you extra cushioning. Not here, not in this boot, unfortunately. So plus, nothing additional, sort of a minus. But let's get back to the plus again. All of this insulation, all of this fleece, all of this fabric that is being used to provide you that warmth during the cold winters adds up unbelievable amount of comfort. I absolutely love it. I always say that winter boots are usually the most comfortable boots out there because they have that just cushioning throughout the whole boot, going all the way on the inside throughout the toe box. And that's a huge plus because most of the times in the hiking boots, Inside of the toe box, there's nothing. There's nothing to give you that comfort. Here you do have all of this going throughout the toe box, and most of the times it's just this hard whatever on the outside. You get that on the inside, so definitely a huge plus. Another thing that I wanted to mention whenever it comes to the comfort is the flexibility of the outsole, which is, I wouldn't say it's extremely flexible. It is a nice balance between being firm and being flexible. Definitely on the firmer side, but still, I was surprised of how flexible it is. I thought it would not be flexible at all. Especially after the review that I've done just last week for Scarpa. That outsole was unbelievably unflexible. This is thicker and it actually much more flexible. So overall, I do love the comfort level of these boots. Probably some of the most comfortable boots that I have reviewed on this channel. Could it be better? Yes, it could. If they implemented that blue layer of additional cushioning on the bottom, I would have given that boot, I would say 9. If they managed to make it a little bit lighter, that where it would have been 10. But this I'll give a very, very solid 8. Very, very solid 8. I do love the comfort level of this boot. That's very generous. All right, so let's move on to the criteria number 2 now. Proofing and protection. So proofing wise, you probably noticed GORE-TEX, yes, GTX waterproofing, the fancy waterproofing technology, not exclusive to Salomon. A lot of other more or less professional, more or less popular, serious outdoors hiking boot manufacturers, not just boots, but also some clothing manufacturers. They use GORE-TEX because that's what more or less serious hikers do prefer, because it's good, it works, and at the same time it's also lightweight and breathable. As we can tell, the boot is fairly lightweight. And you notice the gusseting here. Another thing that I definitely, whenever it comes to Salomon, I have to say great job here. As you can see, 6 inches, more than 6 inches of waterproofing you're getting in this boot. Amazing. I love it. I love it. So Salomon, they use pretty much the whole length of the shaft, which is just above pretty much 6 inches. They use the whole length of the shaft to give you waterproofing. I cannot say how awesome it is, because a lot of times you get a 6-inch shaft, right, and then you have 4 inches of waterproofing just because of the gusseting, and it's like, why'd you do that? Makes no sense. Here they used everything they could. Great job, Salomon. All right, let's move on to the protection now. And like I said, there is very, very decent amount of protection. First of all, from all of the tough fabric that you're getting, the durability and protection, but also Salomon implemented the caps here, the rubber caps. Now, don't get me wrong, this is not going to protect you from some serious impact, a big whatever, something falling, I don't know, weight plate falling on your toe. Now you're gonna feel that. But on a nice rocky road, if you're walking and there's some small rocks falling down or something like that, this will be very, very good. I do love this. I think every hiking boot should have that. Of course, you do have protection in the shaft, sufficient amount of protection, because you have the padding and you have the insulation, and of course your heel is reinforced. Contact grip on the bottom for the outsole, which we will talk about later, but that is a very, very tough rubber, so it gives you a very good amount of protection from the bottom as well. All right, done with the criteria number 2. Let's move on to the criteria number 3, quality and the design features. Now, these are sort of newer, right? So they don't have a lot of reviews yet. About 70 reviews currently on Amazon. The link is in the description below. Almost 5 stars though, because I mean, these are amazing. All right, these are amazing. But check out the regular Quest version and see how many reviews that one has, because that one is very, very, very popular. In fact, I reviewed it on this channel, and people do love that. And most of the times it's the comparison between Quest Prime and Quest 4D, both GTX, and I've done that video as well. So check out, those videos are very popular. A lot of comments, good comments on those videos, that people do like those boots. Both of them are amazing. And this is the winter version. All right, so, and in general, Salomon, whenever it comes to, as a brand, they know what they're doing. Most of the times their products are amazing. So far, I didn't really have something that was terribly bad, right, from Salomon. Let's move on to the design and features. Now, design and features here, usually I talk about the lacing system, and lacing system here is absolutely amazing. First of all, you have very, very long strings, which is good. You can do whatever you want pretty much with them, like a paracord. You can remove it and use it as a cord. Now, don't do that. But you have 3 pairs of fabric hooks, which surprisingly these strings slide through very easily because they're round and because they're thin. All right, and then you have my favorite pair of locking open hooks. And I mean, whenever I say locking, these really do lock in place. It stays. It really does stay. And I mean, I don't know what happened with Salomon, but for some reason they stopped using these in their newer models that they're releasing now. And guys, why? Why did you stop? This is awesome. This is amazing. What this allows you to do is it allows you to set a different tension here and here. And then if you need to release the tension here quickly, for example, in situations like walking up the hill where too much tension here, it might give you a little too much pressure on your sheens and you need to quickly release it, you can with this very, very easily because this is always locked in place, so it maintains the tension here all the time properly. All right, I love this. And this really do lock in place. Just look at this. Look, it really locks in place, right? So, and then you have 2 pairs of open hooks, regular. They don't really lock in place. Maybe just a little bit to give you a little bit of ease of tightening it, but perfect for hiking situations. I mean, great. Amazing, amazing, as good as it can get. Lacing system, string lacing system. Alrighty, let's move on to the criteria number 4 now. Outsole, traction and stability. Now, in order to test the outsole, traction and stability, whenever I do my run and my walk, I do that on a variety of different surfaces. Whenever I test the boots for a run and a walk around my house, starting with some older asphalt, newer tarmac, going into some sand, dry sand, dry grass, wet grass, going into the rocky road, some trail surface, and then finishing up with marble and tile. These ones, however, I did take on an actual hike. Well, not this particular pair, because this obviously you can see is brand new, but the other one that I actually use for testing, I took it on actual hike in the winter in North Carolina. Yeah, so snow and ice, definitely tested it on that as well, because these are winter boots. I had to. And let me tell you guys, absolutely phenomenal outsole. One of the best outsoles out there. As you can see, the design is very simplistic, all right? There isn't really much crazy stuff going to it. It's sort of flat looking, but at the same time these grooves are very, very, very aggressive and tough, so it performs very good on asphalt, tarmac, dry sand, wet sand, no problems, wet grass, dry grass, trail surface, no problems. On the snow they perform without absolutely any problems. The only thing that they are really slippery on is the ice, and most of the times you will have a slippery boot on the ice, unless it is specifically an ice boot with some metal spikes, or you implement the actual metal spikes, which you can do with any boot. And I do recommend, if you're planning some really, really icy hikes, make sure you get yourself a pair of those, attachments with metal spikes on the bottom. I know that there is a proper name, but I rarely do that. I rarely do the icy hikes or whatever where I need those. I don't have them, so I never really got into that yet so far. We'll see, maybe I will, but as an actual outsole, as an actual rubber outsole for a boot, this is as good and as balanced, as versatile as it can get. I absolutely love it. Phenomenal job there, Salomon. And you notice even the ridges here, I mean, Salomon didn't really need to do that here, but they did, and that helps with climbing stuff, which is, makes it even more ultimate survival type, right? All right, so done with the outsole, traction and stability. Great job there, Salomon. I would say a very, very solid 10 out of 10 there. Let's move on to the criteria number 5 now. The temperature. Alright, so let's start with stuff that these are not appropriate for the hotter temperatures, which I was able to test them in here in Florida. Alright, so whenever it comes to the hot temperatures, I think whenever I was doing the run, it was about 91 degrees, so definitely hot, and yes, definitely overheated. I wouldn't say overheated, but it was definitely very hot. Good thing Ortholite antibacterial whatever was there, but yes, of course, these are more of colder temperatures type of thing, right? But whenever I was in North Carolina. It was about 15 degrees Fahrenheit. So it wasn't, I wouldn't say it was extreme cold or anything like that. Definitely cold for a Florida guy, right? But you're without any kind of insulated socks, just the regular socks. These kept me warm without any problems. And you probably noticed the sticker here that actually gives you the temperature, comfortable temperature, easily 21 Fahrenheit, and I mean 15 Fahrenheit. That's what I was wearing them in. It was very, very comfortable without any problems. Limit, they say 10 Fahrenheit, and then extreme is negative 13 Fahrenheit, which is crazy. But here's the thing. This is just with the fleece that they have here in mind, the insulation that is already in the boot. You can always upgrade those numbers by simply implementing either heated socks or insulated socks. That's it, and you will increase, well, drop. Well, because we're talking about the temperature, right? Colder temperature. You will drop those numbers if you implement some insulated socks. Keep that in mind. So overall, whenever it comes to insulation, no problems at all here with this boot. Let's move on to the criteria number 6 now, the sizing. Again, no problems here at all. Definitely true to the size. Now, I always recommend in all of my videos, if you're buying a boot, whether it's a hiking, work boot, tactical boot, military boot, whatever, get yourself half a size bigger than your normal shoe size so that you have a little bit of extra space right here. Very, very important. Will definitely improve the comfort level of the boot or hiking shoe or the trail running shoe, whatever it is. Half a size bigger. It will improve the comfort level. And these definitely are, whenever you get them in the size, whatever you need, they are true to the size. So usually I wear 9.5. I got these in size 10 and I do have that extra space. Perfect. No problems there. Let's move on to the criteria number 7 now, the balance of application. Alright, so if this really were your ultimate survival boot, so you were hiking in the winter and something bad happened, you couldn't return to your house, instead you had to walk hundreds of miles to get to the safety, you had to wear these boots without taking them off, sleep in them, climb, fight, I don't know, what you think about your survival situation. I'm sure freaking 2020 had enough of stuff happen, and I mean 2021 too, had enough of stuff happen for you to think about have a fantasy survival situation, right? No, which pretty much is no longer a fantasy, right? In the world that we live in today. Would these be good for your survival? Honestly, I am glad I have these because these are now my ultimate survival boots for winter situations. And I know, yes, I live in Florida, but at the same time, we do have sometimes cold temperatures, first of all, but also thinking about scenario where for whatever reason I have to move from Florida, walk from Florida all the way up north, somewhere in the mountains, I don't know, some Great Smoky Mountains, National Forest, whatever, and find a safe spot over there. This is the boot that I will be wearing. Not I wish that I'll be wearing. I will wear this because I bought them. That's how much I love them. I really needed a good winter boot. I didn't have one because I live in Florida again, but I was thinking about having one because sometimes I do travel up north. This is my winter boot now, all right? Ultimate survival or just hiking in the winter, this is the one. That's how much I love it. And the very final one, criteria number 8, the price makes it even better. Like I said, you can get these for as low as $180 currently on Amazon. Now, honestly, whenever it comes to price, it's just ridiculous. Seriously, it's I don't know how, I don't know, it makes no sense because if you look at the newer boots that Salomon is releasing right now and selling them for $180 and they have no waterproofing, they are not as comfortable, they are not full size, first of all, they don't have this much of the protection, they don't have these features like this locking hooks, they don't have a lot, and I definitely don't have any kind of insulation. And it makes you wonder why are they just because they're new? Makes no sense. So $180 for these, I think is excellent price. Is there a lot of competition in that price range whenever it comes to the winter boots? There are a few good ones that I can name also from Salomon, a couple from Colombia. Now I have the whole playlist of winter boots that I have reviewed on this channel. Check them out. There are some decent ones, but this just beats them all easily, without any problems. Even if they are a little bit more expensive than other ones, this is the way to go. So let me know in the comments below, guys, what do you think about this boot? Would you consider it as your winter boot? Would you consider it as your ultimate survival boot? If you have any questions about it, again, you can drop them in the comments below as well. Requests, drop them in the comments. I always look out for those. Put them on my to-do list, and if I come across the stuff, I do it as a priority. Thank you very much, guys, for watching. This was Firearms of America. I'll see you guys in the next video.